The British Grand Prix is the most important rallycross event of the year, and all the stars are at Brands Hatch to contest it with some incredibly exotic machinery. Here's the turbocharged four-wheel drive Audi Quattro of 3-time European champion Franz Wurz from Austria. All the four-wheel drive cars carry a 5% added time penalty in the qualifying races. So can Wurz win today?
Perhaps. We have 5%, and it's not so easy to be in the final. It is very hard for us, for the four-wheel drive car, to be in final. It is very hard. Especially today it was dry and not so slippery. And I think we must drive very, very hard. Also Martin and Ole Arneson to be under the 10 best in the final.
So you would like it to be wetter and slippier today, would you?
Yes, I like it, but I think it's too late for me to speak with anybody to make it slippery.
Yes. And here's Martin Schanche's amazing new Ford Escort, turbocharged, over 500 horsepower, a unique new British four-wheel drive system, and £50,000 of Martin's own money. So it's a very important event for the mercurial Norwegian.
Well, it's of course very important, and I just have to do my best, and then we'll have to see. I don't think that the car will let me down. I think it's the driver more that'll probably do an error or mistake.
Schanche's first four-wheel drive race against triple British champion Keith Ripp. 2.5 laps. Can he overcome that 5% penalty, which will add some 9 seconds to his time? Well, just look from the second row. Schanche blasts through to lead at the first corner. And as they go into it, it's Matti Alamarki and Gibson and Atkinson touching. And out of paddock, there goes Schanche is well away. Alamarki in second place. In the yellow car, it's Rob Gibson and then Dennis Atkinson. Now up Hailwood Hill and up towards Langley's Gap. 12 is Alamarki, 15 is Gibson. And in the front is Martin Schanche. Just look at the way that Ford Escort's going now. Into Langley's Gap. Schanche, Alamarki in the Porsche, Rob Gibson, and Keith Ripp is up into 4th position. Now across the bumpy ridgeway, which slopes away downhill and goes into Hoppy's Drop. That's it, named after Trevor Hopkins. Schanche leads, Alamarki second. There's Gibson, 4th is Keith Ripp, and now into the chicane for the first time in this 2.5 lap race. Schanche, the car looking beautifully steady, punches away uphill. Then Alamarki, then Gibson. Ripp is holding on well in the 2.2-litre Fiesta. And round into the slippery section and tumble downhill goes Martin Schanche, leading in his first race today in the Ford Escort. An Escort with a difference. Who's second? There's the answer. Alamarki drifting it out. Gibson and Ripp absolutely together. But Martin Schanche, don't forget, as he goes onto the grass there, has got to overcome that 5% penalty. At the moment, he is not fast enough. He's heading towards the flag. It's Alamarki coming into sight. Where is he now? Second, but he's only 4 seconds behind. Now for Schanche's second qualifying chance against their Franz Wurz's Audi Quattro. And up to the line comes the four-wheel drive Ford Escort. He's in the 3rd row is Schanche, the white car on the right-hand side. And away they go, a superb start by Squibb. And Schanche goes onto the grass and he hits Keith Ripp's car. And now he's last. He's last. Martin Schanche last away, and straight into paddock turn. It's Barry Squibb and Franz Wurz is in second place. Van Herk is in 3rd position in the Volvo, tucked right up the boot lid of Wurz's Audi Quattro. Now up Hailwood Hill. Keith Ripp is 5th behind Rosenberg's NSU. There they go, and Ripp sprints through on the outside. Now to Langley's Gap, and Franz Wurz is in the lead. Barry Squibb is now second. Van Herk in the Volvo is in 3rd position, and Keith Ripp is in 4th, ahead of Rosenberg. And Schanche is really flying. He's shooting across the ridgeway. He goes past Rosenberg's car. He's really motoring. He's got the Escort going. He's got the Escort going off. Off goes Schanche. And so Martin Schanche spun off, and he fails to qualify for the 2nd time. And with Wurz and Squibb 1st and 2nd, a furiously frustrated Schanche marches to race control to protest.
Idiots.
Martin, you took a terrific flyer at the start to get by, and now you've got problems. What's happened?
No problems. It's just that the organisers, on clean purpose, they stuff a slow car up front so I can't get through. I'm not here for going on bicycling. If I did that, I would be out in the countryside. So I'm not driving anywhere.
Does this mean you're out altogether?
No, not out. There's nothing wrong with the car. There's nothing wrong with me. But the organisers want their show. And to kill my 50 grand's worth of a motor car, I'm not interested. I'm just going to tell them.
Wow. But they told him you're excluded, Schanche, for dodgy driving. So what does the future hold for Schanche? Will he drive again? Will he qualify if he does? What a cliffhanger. And the answer is yes, Schanche drives again. With his temper cooled and his last chance to qualify his superb new car, Martin rolls onto the grid and the front row this time, a happy man. 1, 2, 3, John Greasley's superb Porsche. And that's Dennis Atkinson. Last off. And as they go, look at Schanche's lead. Into tumble downhill, Gibson second, Trevor Hopkins third in the Fiesta. Number 70's John Clark in fourth position, and Ed Van Schie and Van Herk both make contact with Clark. Now out and up goes John Clark. Watch the traction of that Porsche, rear engine, rear wheel drive, slipping a bit. Schanche comes out of Druids into Langley's Gap, and he's got to win this race by 9 seconds at least to qualify. So it's Trevor Hopkins up into second place. And there goes Schanche across the Ridgeway. Look at the suspension of that car, and its four-wheel drive Xtrac system is really working. 500 horsepower that's coping with, more than 500 horsepower. Into the chicane, and it's Hopkins second. Look for the Fiesta now of Trevor Hopkins. There he is, 3 times British champion. Rob Gibson behind him, and Gibson's door's open. Look at that. Now, if that isn't a disadvantage, I'd like to know what it is. Schanche flings the Escort down, tumble downhill, and now there's a battle going on for second place between Rob Gibson with a flapping driver's door and Trevor Hopkins. Now here's Gibson in the Porsche. Out goes the door. How's he going to cope with that? He's got to close it somehow. He's not bothering. Yes, he is. Shut the door. Shut that door, and on goes Rob Gibson into the right-hander of Druids, as out of it comes Martin Schanche. Langley's Gap. And Martin Schanche's really showing the way in this race. But even in this one, I don't think he's overcome that 5% penalty. It means he's got to win by at least 9 seconds. But he's making the most of that 500 horsepower. This, don't forget, is only his 3rd race in this car. Yesterday, he won the Internations Cup against the cream of Europe's drivers, including Ole Arnesen and Frans Wurz. And there are John Clark and Greasley in their Porsches battling for 3rd and 4th places as the seemingly victorious Martin Schanche motors serenely on. He's almost making it look like a Sunday run, but Gibson is close enough to depress Martin Schanche in the order. He's still got that door problem as Rob Gibson. Martin Schanche up into Druids. There goes Clark in 3rd position, Greasley in 4th position, and Martin Schanche's turbo has blown. That's a telltale sign. That plume of smoke from the back, and past him goes Rob Gibson. Schanche is not going to win. Rob Gibson wins in the Porsche. Schanche second, and then behind them, John Clark and John Greasley. So, after all the efforts, all the aggro, and 3 truly spirited drives, the 3 times European champion has failed to qualify for the British Grand Prix final. Martin Schanche tours despondently off the course. In the garage, water to cool the turbo prior to a rapid change of unit, and a very unhappy Schanche gives vent to his feelings in 2 languages.
I ska se om jag kan finna någon turbo.
Blow the turbo?
Yeah, we blew the turbo. And the
yes, he blew the turbo, and Martin Schanche was doomed not to appear again. Never mind, here's this year's European champion, Sweden's Ole Arnesson in his mighty Audi Quattro, burning oil in the turbo. This is his last qualifier, and like Schanche, he's so far failed to beat the 5% penalty. But he says he can go faster this time. That's Seppo Niittymaki in the 650 horsepower twin-turbo Porsche. And there, Franz Wurz, who's yet to qualify. Away they go. 2 Quattros in this race, and Arnesson sprints through, and Wurz is already up into second place at the first corner from the 3rd row, and he bumps, or does he bump, Jettel Bolnaset's car. Well, there is Barry Squibb in 3rd position, with the 2 Quattros in front of him, right up tight behind Franz Wurz. So it's the European champion, Ole Arnesson, car E, leading. Then 56, Franz Wurz in another Audi Quattro. Barry Squibb in 3rd position, and Arnesson flings it round Druids. Side slips it through Langley's Gap, chased by Franz Wurz, and across the Ridgeway. Now look at the way these 450 horsepower odd 4-wheel drive Audi Quattros, which have swept all before them in rallying and Rallycross this year, go on this very tricky Brands Hatch going. Now into the chicane. Arnesson. Wurz, behind Wurz, where's Barry Squibb in the yellow car? There he is in 3rd position, and off goes Bolnaset, and that's Gulbrandsen who's joined him. So 2 cars off, and a very unhappy Bolnaset gets out of the car, slams the door, and away. And on his way, Arnesson. That's Wurz behind him. The 2 top men in Europe, Barry Squibb driving superbly to keep them in sight. And Barry Squibb is certainly closer than 9 seconds behind. This is Franz Wurz's last Rallycross. He's going to rallying after this year. And Arnesson flings his car across the Ridgeway. Wurz is right up behind him now. He's going to try for first. And it's contact. Contact between the 2 Audis. Franz Wurz gives Arnesson a bit of a nudge, as if to say, come on, get on with it, I'm right behind you. And Arnesson nearly loses it, going through the chicane. Well, Franz Wurz is certainly giving his car a larruping on its last drive. Down, tumble downhill, and now Arnesson has increased the gap a bit, but it's the Audi Quattros all the way. And it looks to me as though they're both far enough ahead of Barry Squibb to qualify for the final. And if they are, that will be the only 2 4-wheel drive cars to get into the vital last race. Arnesson leads out of Druids. Arnesson leads through Langley's Gap. Franz Wurz is not close enough to win. So across the line, it's the Swede first, the Austrian second. And so now the 10 qualifiers assemble for the 4.5 lap final. John Welch in Martin Schanche's 2-wheel drive turbo Escort. 0, last year's winner Rolf Nilsson in his Porsche, and Finland's Matti Alamäki in his Porsche. Keith Ripp 2.2 litre Fiesta, and Barry Squibb 2.2 litre Escort. Row 3, Graham Hathaway, 1980 British champion. Seppo Niittymaki, 650 horsepower Porsche, number 9. Franz Wurz arrives for his last Rallycross drive, and Jettel Bolnaset makes it 10. No 5% penalty in the final. And it's go. Into paddock, it's Nilsson leading. And Welch rams him, nearly pushes him off. Rolf Nilsson leads, John Welch in 2nd place. Ole Arnesson in the Audi Quattro, there he is in 3rd position. Then it's Niittymaki, and in 5th place Keith Ripp, up Hailwood Hill. 9 is Niittymaki, ahead of him, the Audi Quattro. Then John Welch, a superb drive, the English driver, only in his 2nd drive in a turbocharged car, and he's in 2nd place. Across the Ridgeway, Nilsson, last year's winner, the Swede, who finished 2nd in this year's European Championship, and he's really blasting away. Across the Ridgeway, down into Hoppy's Drop, rejoining the tarmac, sprints down towards the chicane, Arnesson 3rd, Niittymaki 4th, and in the yellow Fiesta, Keith Ripp, the 3 times British champion. The chicane, end of lap 1, Nilsson. Welch right with him. him is Arneson. Behind Arneson, still Nitti Marchi. And Rip is in very close contact in 5th place, and Wurtz goes through. And down, tumble downhill. John Welch has now got Arneson right behind him, and Nilsson hits Arneson in 4th position. Keith Rip is right there. 4 cars absolutely together as they go up Halewood Hill. And Ole Arneson is past Welch. Ole Arneson is past Welch into 2nd place. So now it's Nilsson in the Porsche. Arneson, the European champion, 2nd. Welch is 3rd. Nitti Marchi 4th. And Keith Rip is in 5th place. There he goes. What a terrific final, and it looks as though Nilsson's got it in the bag as Nitti Marchi in his 650 horsepower car closes up on Welch. Welch behind Arneson and Rip behind Nitti Marchi. The chicane. Very tricky here, getting it right from the tarmac onto the looser stuff. Nilsson goes through, Arneson nearly loses it, Welch steps out, and Keith Rip nearly goes into the tyres. And that's Franz Wurtz in 6th position. Franz Wurtz is carving his way through the field. Terrific stuff. Arneson and Welch now, 2nd and 3rd. Now, can Ole Arneson do anything about last year's winner, Rolf Nilsson? The Porsche has got more of an advantage in today's dry conditions than it would have had if it had been wet, and Arneson driving the 4-wheel car would have been able to make progress, but never mind. Welch is still in 3rd place. There is the leader across the Ridgeway. There is Arneson 2nd, Welch 3rd, Nitti Marchi 4th, Rip 5th, and Wurtz closing up in 6th position, down into Hoppy's drop. You can actually feel the electric excitement here at Brands as Nilsson goes through. Is he going to make it 2 in a row? Not if Ole Arneson can do anything about it. Welch still 3rd. Now, where's Wurtz? There he is. Wurtz is right up now with Keith Rip, who is in 5th position. There's Nilsson. Arneson is definitely closing. Welch is there in 3rd position. Nitti Marchi 4th, Rip 5th, and Wurtz is absolutely with the Fiesta. Is he going to take him now? He's got the 4-wheel drive advantage. Rip moves to the right, and Wurtz goes through. Wurtz has moved up, and so now it's Nilsson there in the rear-wheel drive, rear-engine Porsche against the 4-wheel drive, front-engine Audi Quattro in the lead. Now, this is the chicane and into the last half lap to make it 4.5 laps, which is the full distance. And Arneson is right with Nilsson. Nilsson's lost a bit of time there. He stepped out very wide indeed. Down, tumbled downhill now. Arneson closing. It's still Welch in 3rd position, is it? Yes, there he is. Welch 3rd, Nitti Marchi 4th, and Franz Wurtz in 5th place. Up Halewood Hill. And Arneson closes. Arneson is through. He leads in the last half lap. Ole Arneson, the European champion, has taken the lead from last year's winner, Rolf Nilsson, and he surely must win. What a drive. Yes, he's doing it. Arneson wins. Nilsson 2nd. Now, who's going to be 3rd? Look back, look back. It's Wurtz. Wurtz is in 3rd position. Welch 4th and Nitti Marchi 5th. A fantastic final. Well, my goodness. Franz Wurtz gets his balaclava off, and congratulations from Les Needham. Out of the car now, his last drive in the Quattro.
Finish with his car.
Very good.